Hi, once again you are welcome back to my channel and to my series of videos on using Turnitin as a constructive feedback tool. In the previous videos, I looked at how you can submit your work through Turnitin, how you can check your originality score presented by Turnitin, and then in the third part, which is this part, I've been trying to see how I can explain to you how you can understand the originality score you get. So in the first case, I presented you with an extremely high score of 98%, and I explained why that could happen and what that means. And then in the second case, I presented to you a figure that was seemingly acceptable, say 24%. And then I tried to explain to you that, you can't really just say 24% is fine. So I tried to explain to you how we as lecturers investigate your work to say this is a problem, you have to face an academic conduct panel, or why we could let it go, based on whatever it is we have found. In this third case, I'll be presenting you with another figure, which, some students could say, surely 30% is okay. I've tried to reduce the percentage, and now I think 30% is fine. But the question again is, what does 30% mean? So I'll present you with one submission, and then we will go through it together. And at the end of the day, you and I can now make a decision on what you think, or what I think, about the meaning of this 30%. Now, at the start of this, I always say you need to understand what Turnitin is checking. After you upload your submission, Turnitin starts matching or comparing your work with everything out there. So Turnitin is checking student papers, internet sources, journal articles, periodicals, publications, and comparing these with your work. So there is no hiding place, like I tell my students. Okay, so it could have some exclusions though, based on the way it's been set up. So your lecturer could decide to exclude bibliography or quoted materials or small matches. But in the event that they do not exclude them and Turnitin picks it up, you will not be penalized for these. Okay, so my third case is one where there is an originality score of 32%. What does that mean, 32%? It means that only 68% of this submission is your work. Okay, so the student paper submitted to Coventry University has 14%. And the rest of the sources the student has copied from or used without learning being processed or taking place makes up 18%. Remember, this student paper could very well be the initial submission or draft submission of this same student. So it does not necessarily have to be another student, but it could very well be another student. And in that case, you will find out that when you drill further down on this, you'll be able to know exactly who this paper belongs to. Okay, so remember, for this source, I have not captured all the sources. You can see 22 here, meaning we have up to 22 sources or more used by the student. Now let's start analyzing these sources. This is what it looks like. So this has been highlighted. This is fine. This is the PID, Project Information Document, so I would not bother with this. But when I get to something like this and you find out that this actually is a sentence where, a few things have been changed, then I know that learning has not actually taken place here. Okay, so this student needs to reprocess this, read it, understand it, and write it in your own words. Whoa, look at this now. Just have a look at this. If you click on the number 2, of course, you're able to understand where that came from. This is a publication, all right? But just look at the way this document looks. So many highlights. Look at the green, the blues, the reds or pinks. So learning has not taken place much here. Look at this sentence now. It's just been lifted and dropped, and then Fry 2003 added as the citation. So if you're going to actually put something like this, then it should be quoted, because you've taken it verbatim. Everything you have actually taken, copied and pasted. okay? And it's not good practice to quote too many things. It's best for you to read, digest it, and rewrite in your own words. So this is not good practice. This is what you call patch writing. When you copy, you paste, you try to alter a few things using synonyms here and there. So that is not good practice. So we've had a look at the first, a look at the second. So although these are 3, 3 and all that, you can see it does not look good. If you drill further down, look at this one as well. Okay, coming from this source too. Okay, Slavic, Jan, Anna, and Andrea Sibak. So this publication, this has just been lifted and then a few things changed. So learning needs to take place. You need to read, understand, and write it out in your own words. If you drill further down into the 4 as well, you see what has been taken from the 4. This is just one of them. Okay, so it's going to have 4 dotted around the paper, and then the bits related to 4, you can find them. Just like you have 2 dotted around the paper, and the bits related to 2, you find them. Okay, so you know that every single bit that has pink is taken from this journal, this publication, and every bit highlighted in blue is taken from this particular one 4. So if as a student you submit your draft and you find out that most of your highlights are coming from the pink or the blues, then you have to actually go back to this journal article to read it again, make your notes again, and ensure learning takes place. Then rewrite the bits that you want to write. So if you want to talk more about transactional leadership in the context of strategic leadership, for instance, and you read this article, read it again. Okay, cover it and then make your notes afresh. Then that way you'll be able to actually put what you have learned down in your own words. And that's the same for the green bit as well. So that's for the 5. So you find several 5s in greens dotted around the article. Now, when you have instances where you have 3%, 3%, 2%, 2%, several, then that means you have actually copied and pasted too much from several sources. And this is not bad. This is not good practice at all. This is a very poor way to write. So you have not applied proper note-taking skills. Okay, so like I explained previously, you need to actually understand what you are doing when you read, and you find out that these bits, you've copied too much from here. Go back and reread the article and then make your notes afresh, and then use that to rewrite the bits that have been highlighted. So ensure you read and understand, critically evaluate your source, and make your notes in your own words. That's my first recommendation to you. After you've sourced your articles or the journals or textbooks you want to use, put them aside, okay? Write down your references using a referencing management system, and then start to read the bits related to the question you are striving to answer. You read, you understand it, you close what you have read, evaluate it critically. So it's not just about copying and pasting, it's about understanding it in the context of what the question is. So it's not enough to actually say, things that align with what you're trying to find, but what are the other views in relation to this? So you should evaluate them critically, okay? And then make your own notes in your own words. You must ensure that learning has taken place. Ensure you understand what you are doing, and what the learning outcome that the lecturer is striving for you to achieve, you've achieved them. And then use your in-text citations where you have used other people's ideas. Pull these together and come up with a whole. All right, so now you can submit your work. You can also check originality score. You understand what the numbers of the score means, and you understand that this seemingly is a trick question. Is there a number that is acceptable? So it depends on what the number actually means. So we've looked at 8%, we've looked at 98%, we've looked at 24%, and now we've looked at about 34%. So at the end of the day, the question is, what do these scores represent? So stay tuned, because now I'm going to tell you about how you can edit your work and resubmit to Turnitin to be able to enhance the number and make it better. Thank you.